Started. A copy of the Open Meetings Act is located on the north wall of the legislative chambers. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have a request for a point of privilege for Commissioner Morgan, but we need to declare an emergency to add a resolution honoring George Ireland to the agenda.
Second.
Roll call, please vote.
Just a moment, please. Caught Ellen's flying fingers off guard. Okay. Motion passes.
Did we vote this way rather than the roll call? With that, I will turn it over to Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you very much, Mary Ann. I appreciate that. I have a resolution that I'd like to read quickly that I passed out to all of you, and Sharon did as well. Whereas George Ireland began his employment with the City of Omaha in 1954, held in numerous positions, including interim finance director, personnel director, and I was fortunate enough to have George work in the mayor's office my entire time that I was in the mayor's office, and he became chief of staff for me. And whereas George Ireland took the position of operations and personnel deputy in the Douglas County Treasurer's office in 1995, and later became chief deputy for former treasurer Julie Haney. And whereas during his tenure in the treasurer's office, George Ireland was credited with many accomplishments, most notably streamlining the vehicle registration process and expanding online customer service options. And whereas after 50 years of service to the city and county government, George Ireland retired in 2005. And whereas George Ireland passed away on October 18, 2011 at age 81. And whereas during his employment with the City of Omaha and Douglas County, George Ireland earned the friendship, respect of fellow employees and the public. And whereas George Ireland will be remembered for his professionalism, sincerity, integrity, sense of humor, and his ability to win people over with his outstanding personality. And whereas George Ireland will be greatly missed by his peers in city and county government and all of us, now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners, Douglas County, Nebraska, that this board hereby expresses its sincere sympathy to the family of George Ireland on his passing, and further honors George Ireland for a lifetime of personal and professional successes. And I just add to that, this is dated the 25th of October, and I mean this most earnestly. He is one of the finest people I've ever met and known in my life, and that's a true statement, and I know my family feels the same way as I do. He was just most special. So I'd like to have all of us sign this, and I'll pass it around.
Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Boyle.
Well, you know, first of all, I really appreciate Commissioner Morgan bringing this up, and I'm going to be very brief, but how could you not love a guy named Ireland, huh? George was, I used to call him the chief deputy bean counter when he worked for Bill Niskell, who was the finance director for the city. And there were very difficult financial times, and George always had a steady hand to offer. We had 22% interest rates, and the first recession that occurred back in a serious one back in the 80s, it was devastating. We laid off 2 rounds of employees. But George was always a steady hand with a twinkle in his eye and a lot of good judgment. I couldn't agree more with what Commissioner Morgan said. We both were really fortunate to have had such a relationship, yours very close and mine right behind it. He was just a great guy.
Thank you, Mike.
With that, please vote.
And
Motion
we can
passes.
send this out to Carolina
Yes.
as well.
Right.
Well, We'll move to the agenda for the Douglas County Board of Equalization. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Boyle, Commissioner Duda, Commissioner Kraft, Commissioner Morgan, Commissioner Rogers, Commissioner Tusha, Madam Chair.
Here, item A, approval of the minutes of Board of Equalization meeting held Tuesday, October 18, 2011. Item B, call for a meeting and set Tuesday, November 1st, 2011, as a date for hearing on certified assessment corrections reflecting the addition of omitted property to the tax rolls or increased value on property.
Motion approved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Please vote.
Motion passes.
Citizen comments. Is there anyone in the chamber wishing to speak to the Board of Equalization about an item not on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move to resolutions D and E and F.
Motion approved and adjourned.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Please vote.
Motion passes.
We'll move to the agenda for the Douglas County Board of Corrections. Roll call.
Commissioner Boyle.
Here.
Commissioner Duda.
Here.
Commissioner Kraft. Commissioner Morgan. Commissioner Rogers. Commissioner Tusha.
Here.
Madam Chair.
We'll need a motion to go into executive session for personnel negotiations and litigation.
So moved. Second.
Please vote.
Motion passes.
Nobody.
You're on.
Keep life easier. No lawyers allowed.
Do we have a motion to reconvene?
Yes, we did.
Oh, please vote.
Motion passes.
We will move to the agenda for the Douglas County Corrections, Douglas County Board of Corrections. Roll call. Oh, we already did that. First item, resolution approving the appointment of Director of Douglas County Department of Corrections.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Does that include adjournment?
Yes, it does.
And please note that after the Douglas County Board of Commissioners meeting today, the Board of Corrections will tour the corrections facility. And Commissioner Boyle, did you want to keep it at this time, or did you want to do it a different time again?
I'd like to do it a different time because, for starters, Commissioner Morgan and I are going to a funeral, and I don't know how people feel about it, but to me it's nicer to see something really happening. Maybe sometime we'd like to concentrate going down there on mealtime and see what's going on.
Okay.
Something
Do
like
you want
that.
to try to set that up with
I would.
The director and then
Yes,
get back
I will.
to us? Okay.
Thank you.
Don't include lunch, though.
No lunch.
Right.
No other questions or comments? Please vote.
Motion passes.
We'll move to the agenda for the Douglas County Board of Commissioners. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Boyle, Commissioner Duda, Commissioner Kraft, Commissioner Morgan, Commissioner Rogers, Commissioner Tusha, Madam Chair.
Yes. Item A, approval of the minutes of Board of Commissioners meeting held Tuesday, October 18, 2011. Item B, approval of claims submitted for payment processed through Tuesday, October 25, 2011. The complete listing is on file in the office of the County Clerk Comptroller. And item C, the exceptions for .com.
Motion approved.
Second.
Question? Oh. Do you want to let's pull item B then? And just, is there a motion to approve A and C?
So moved.
Second.
Please vote.
Motion passes.
Now do we have a motion for item B?
So moved.
Second.
Please vote.
Just a moment, please. Okay. Motion passes.
The consent agenda, items A through K, for a total of 11 items.
Motion approved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Please vote.
Motion passes.
Citizen comments. Is there anyone in the chamber wishing to speak to the Board of Commissioners about an item not on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move to committees. The first one being the Finance, Commissioner Morgan and Commissioner Kraft.
The report is as presented.
We'll move on to Community Services. Commissioner Duda, there's one item.
Kent, would you please, this is an annual issue that we have to adjust the landfill rates according to the CPI part of the contract. What are we up to here, Kent?
Correct. Good morning, Commissioners. Kent Holmes, Director of Environmental Services. Yes, this is the annual CPI adjustment per the contract, and this year that adjustment is 3.6%. You have the resolution in front of you. Happy to address any questions you may have.
Thank you. And with that, I would move for approval.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Please vote.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kent. Next is the Human Resources, the weekly personnel report from Civil Service as presented. And legislative issues, we'll have more of those on next week to talk about. If anybody has anything else for legislative. Commissioner Boyle?
Yes, I do want to bring something up. I want to talk with Dr. Foxall first. This is something that's been done in several states, and that is instead of when a person is brought before a judge, rather than having a judge sentence a person to 90 days in a correctional facility for shoplifting or something like that, that the defendant is referred to a committee of 5 persons who then decide what the punishment should be. In the alternative, they would sentence the person to the Douglas County Correctional Facility for assessment, and then our professionals over there would decide what the best treatment was for the person. Excuse me. The reason I bring that up is, 90 days for shoplifting, just on its face, first offender with no other complications, sounds a little bit extreme. So we would be able to save money and perhaps pull people out of a funk, do some classes in shoplifting, how to stop it, and either that or improve your skills. No, I'm sorry. How to be treated for shoplifting.
Levity.
Something like that. And anyway, it's very progressive. Other states have tried this and with great success. So I'm going to explore that, and I'll bring back whatever we end up with, if we end up with something.
Okay. Commissioner Kraft?
Yes, and if I may. You use the term for shoplifting first offender. In this case, it's first conviction.
Yeah.
Usually it's not the first time.
Right.
I know that from experience. On the right side of the fence.
We're glad to hear that.
I figured I'd better clarify, or you'd have a retort for me.
With that, we have no other legislative items. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Please vote. Oh, I have a point of privilege. We also learned last night and then this morning that we lost an employee over in the referee's office, Pat Cullen, and I would like to just take a moment of silence. It was a sudden, unexpected passing, and so I would ask that we just take a moment of silence before we actually adjourn. Thank you.
Commissioner Rogers. Motion passes.